The execution ceremony was already in motion. Raiden stood in the center of the iron square, wrists bound behind his back with chains that glowed faintly purple. Suppression seals, designed to drain mana and prevent escape attempts during capital punishment proceedings. Around him, 5,000 spectators had gathered. Nobles in silk robes filled the elevated boxes. Commoners packed the streets below. Merchants were selling programs listing his crimes. Children were being taught this was how traitors died. "Kneel," the high priest commanded. Raiden didn't kneel. The high priest's eyes narrowed. "Last warning, criminal." "I'm not kneeling," Raiden said, loud enough for the front rows to hear. "And you're not executing me." A ripple of laughter moved through the crowd. The executioner, a man named Kale who'd personally beheaded 200 prisoners, stepped forward with his axe. "Foolish boy," Kale said. "You have no mana, no weapon, no allies. What makes you think you can stop what's already begun?" Raiden looked at his chains. They were crushing his wrists, cutting off circulation, draining whatever magical energy might exist inside him. According to every official record, he was mana class F, 0 affinity for any element. Combat aptitude at baseline human levels. Genetic markers showing no bloodline potential whatsoever. In other words, he was worthless. Except something deep in his chest had been throbbing for 3 days. Like a heartbeat that wasn't his own. A rhythm that pulsed in time with the moon. Now, standing before thousands of people who wanted him dead, that rhythm accelerated. The chains flickered. "What's happening?" someone shouted. The purple light on the suppression chains dimmed, then brightened, then started cracking. "No," the high priest whispered. "That's impossible. Those chains are blessed by the celestial order. They cannot be broken by a mana class F." The chains exploded outward. Shrapnel flew everywhere. 3 people in the front row got cut by flying metal fragments. The high priest dove behind his podium. The executioner raised his axe, but it fell from his grip like it weighed too much. Raiden stood in the center of the square, unbound. The suppression seals were shattered. His body hummed with energy he couldn't name. And then he heard it. A voice inside his skull. Bloodline awakening complete. Protocol initiated. Subject, Dragon Sovereign Lineage. Status, revived. Raiden fell to his knees. Blood poured from his nose. Fire raced through his veins. For 30 seconds, he couldn't breathe, couldn't think, could only endure. Then it stopped. He opened his eyes. The world looked different. Colors were sharper. Sounds were clearer. He could smell fear from 3 blocks away. The crowd went silent. Kale recovered first. "Guards, secure the criminal." 12 elite guards charged with spears and shields. Raiden didn't move. He didn't prepare. He didn't think. His body reacted. He sidestepped the first thrust, caught the second spear shaft, twisted. The guard flew backward into 3 others. He spun, swept a leg, knocked 2 more down. Within 7 seconds, all 12 guards were unconscious. Not dead, just unconscious. Raiden stared at his hands. He'd never trained in combat, had no formal martial arts education, had been rejected from every academy and guild in the city. So how did he do that? The high priest rose from behind his podium. He looked terrified, not angry, terrified. "You," the priest said. "What are you?" Raiden answered the only way he could. "I don't know." Behind him, on the eastern horizon, storm clouds were gathering. Lightning flashed, not white, but purple, matching the color of the shattered chains. A voice echoed from the sky, too distant to identify. "Dragon Sovereign returns. Prepare for judgment." The spectators scattered. The nobles fled. The execution was abandoned. Raiden stood alone in the center of the square, breathing hard, wondering what the hell just happened. But he knew one thing for certain. Whatever power had woken up inside him wasn't going to let him go unnoticed for long. 3 months earlier, Raiden lived in the slums of Viridian City. He worked as a delivery boy for the Merchants Guild, dropped packages from his house in District 7 to mansions in District 1, walked 15 miles daily, earned 3 copper coins per delivery, sometimes less if the customer complained. His family had once been respected. His grandfather served as a royal advisor during the War of Crimson Skies. His father was a captain in the Northern Guard before dying in a border skirmish when Raiden was 7. But honor didn't pay bills. Honor didn't heal sickness. Honor didn't keep the landlord from evicting you when rent was late. which is why Raiden lived in a basement apartment with a leaky roof and a window that didn't open. His neighbor across the hall was named Mira. She was 17, 1 year younger than him, and worked as an apprentice healer at the Grand Temple. She was the only person who didn't treat him like garbage. "You're late again," she said when he knocked on her door. Raiden handed her a package. Guild shipment ran behind schedule. Mira took it. "Another healing tonic shipment? For the Noble District?" "Always Noble District. Never for us." Mira smiled sadly. "That's the way it is, Raiden. Mana flows upward. Resources flow upward. People like us, we just watch." "People like us," Raiden repeated. "Meaning nobody. Meaning nobody with power." Mira opened her door wider. "Come in. Sit. I have tea." It's 3 in the afternoon. Tea exists at all hours. That's one benefit of being a temple apprentice. Raiden stepped inside. Mira's apartment was small but clean. Dried herbs hung from the ceiling. Potions lined the shelves in neat rows. A single bed sat in the corner with clean sheets. She poured him tea. "How are you doing?" "Same as always." "You sound tired." "I am." Mira sat opposite him. "Listen, there's something you should know." "About the execution notice?" Mira's face went pale. "How do you know about that?" "The whole city knows. The high priest announced it during morning prayers. Criminal Raiden of House Ardent, charged with treason, theft, and attempting to steal royal artifacts. They're not even pretending I committed an actual crime, just using me as an example." "They're executing you," Mira said. "Tomorrow morning." "Yep." "And you're sitting here drinking tea. Pretty relaxed for a condemned man, huh?" Mira leaned forward. "Why weren't you arrested sooner? If they're accusing you of stealing royal artifacts, surely." "Because I didn't steal anything. Because someone set me up. And because nobody cares enough to investigate." Mira was quiet for a moment. "Then, there's a chance. Small, but there's a chance." "What kind of chance?" "If you're truly innocent, there's a procedure. The trial of purity. It clears your name if you survive it. But it's not exactly safe." "Tell me about it." "It takes place at the Sacred Mountain. You have to climb to the summit, prove your innocence through spiritual trial, and receive blessing from the Stone Guardians. If you fail, you die. Most people fail. How many succeed?" "1 per decade. Sometimes less." Raiden finished his tea. "When do I need to leave?" "You're serious?" "Do I look like I'm joking?" Mira studied his face. "You've changed. Since whatever happened yesterday, you're acting different. Maybe I finally stopped caring what happens. That's not healthy." "Neither is dying tomorrow." Mira stood. She walked to a shelf and pulled down a small leather pouch. Opened it. Inside were 3 silver coins and a pendant made of obsidian stone carved into the shape of a dragon's eye. "Take these," she said. "Silver for supplies." "The pendant, my grandmother gave it to me before she passed. She said it belonged to our family's ancestors. Said it would protect me when I needed it most." "Why are you giving it to me?" "Because you need it more." "Mira, just take it, please." Raiden accepted the pendant. It was warm to the touch, warmer than it should be. When he held it, he felt that strange heartbeat from his chest pulsing in sync with the stone. "Thank you," he said. "Don't thank me yet. Survive tomorrow first." The sacred mountain rose 3,000 meters above the valley floor. It was covered in snow year-round, despite the summer season. Winds howled so loudly that climbers had to shout to be heard. Ice formations shaped like claws lined the climbing paths, as if the mountain itself was trying to tear travelers apart. Raiden arrived at base camp at dawn. There were 6 other challengers already there. 2 of them were Class A warriors seeking to boost their reputation. One was a merchant's daughter using family wealth to bribe officials into letting her participate. The other 3 were nobles testing their mettle before the imperial examination. None of them noticed Raiden. The trial supervisor was an elderly monk named Father Chun. He wore white robes that fluttered in the wind. His staff was carved from bone, topped with a crystal orb that glowed softly. "Welcome to the trial of purity," Chun announced. "Each of you will attempt the ascent individually. The path is marked by spirit stones. Follow them to the summit. Along the way, you will face spiritual trials designed to test your character, resolve, and worthiness. Only those who prove innocent may reach the top." "How do you determine innocence?" asked one of the nobles. "The stones decide. Speak the truth, walk forward. Lie or hide guilt, and the stones will block your path. And if I'm truly guilty, then you fall. Chin's tone didn't change. Death is final. Injury is permanent. Failure is absolute. A murmur went through the group. Begin when ready, Chin said. Raiden waited until the others had started ascending. He didn't rush, didn't panic, didn't try to impress anyone. He began his climb at noon. The first mile was straightforward. Trail markers, handholds, rope bridges, physical exertion, nothing supernatural. Raiden's body struggled, his muscles burned, his lungs screamed, but he kept moving. At mile marker 2, the first spirit stone appeared. It was embedded in the rock face, glowing with soft blue light. Text appeared in the air above it. State your true purpose for this journey. Raiden placed his hand on the stone. I'm here to clear my name, to prove I didn't commit crimes I never did. The stone flashed green. The path ahead illuminated. He continued. Mile 3 brought the second test. What do you desire most? Raiden thought about this. Justice, not revenge. Justice. I don't want whoever framed me punished specifically. I want the truth known. I want my family's honor restored. Green flash again. Path cleared. Mile 4, the third test. Whom do you trust? This one made Raiden hesitate. Trust was complicated. His parents were dead. His friends were gone. His only ally was Mira, and she'd given him her grandmother's pendant without hesitation. Mira, he said quietly. The girl next door? The healer who believes I'm innocent. The stone turned yellow. Not green, but not red either. Interesting. Chin's voice echoed from somewhere in the wind. Rare response. Continue. The path remained open. Mile 5 was where things got difficult. The trail ended. A chasm split the mountain, 50 meters wide. On the other side, another spirit stone waited. Jump if you believe in yourself. Walk away if you know you're guilty. Raiden looked at the gap. 50 meters. Impossible jump. No wings. No levitation. Just gravity and bone-breaking consequences. He thought about turning back, but there was no way back down. The trial required reaching the summit, or dying trying. Raiden took 3 steps back, ran forward, jumped. Mid-air, the pendant Mira gave him grew hot. Hot enough to burn his palm. Hot enough to glow. Hot enough to ignite. A burst of golden light erupted from the stone. Wings formed from pure energy behind Raiden's back. He soared across the gap, landing on the far side without touching ground. The spirit stone flashed blue. Bloodline detected. Status, uncertain. Proceed with caution. Chin appeared beside him. That wasn't normal jumping ability. Raiden touched his neck. The pendant was dormant again, but he could feel it humming against his skin. Some kind of artifact, Raiden said. Artifacts cannot grant flight. Only inherited power can do that. Raiden looked at the elder monk. What kind of power? The kind that died out centuries ago. The kind that was thought extinct. Chin studied Raiden carefully. Where did you acquire this pendant? It belonged to my neighbor's family. And she gave it willingly? She said it would protect me when I needed it most. Chin nodded slowly. Perhaps she was right. Perhaps there's something about your lineage we forgot to record. Something the authorities deliberately erased. Like what? House Arden didn't just serve as royal advisors. Your grandfather led the Dragon Guard, an elite unit that protected the ancient bloodlines when they still walked among mortals. Raiden felt something click. The Dragon Guard? I've heard stories. People said they were mythical. They weren't myths. They were hunters and guardians. And they served only one purpose: to ensure the Dragon Sovereign's bloodline survived when empires fell. And my grandfather? Your grandfather hid the last known member of that bloodline, buried the records, changed identities, protected the heir from assassins. Whose heir? Chin didn't answer. He pointed upward. The summit was visible now, a plateau covered in ice and ancient ruins. Statues lined the perimeter, 20-meter-tall figures carved from marble, each depicting a different creature with wings, horns, and eyes like jewels. Dragons. Every statue was a dragon in human form. There are 20 stone guardians, Chin said. Each will test you. Each will demand a piece of your soul. If you survive them all, the mountain grants you freedom. And if I don't survive, then you join the statues. Raiden started climbing toward the summit. Behind him, Chin called out, remember, truth is your only weapon. Lies will kill you. First guardian, A towering figure with crimson scales and flames erupting from its mouth. Name your truest fear. Raiden didn't hesitate. Being powerless. Watching people suffer while I stand helpless. Having the ability to save lives, but knowing I lack the strength. The Guardian's flames roared. Heat washed over him. His skin blistered. His clothes burned. But he didn't fall. The Guardian lowered its head. Acceptable. Pass. Fire vanished. Path forward. Second Guardian, a shadow with no physical form. Reveal your greatest regret.